Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hey, we had a last minute change of plans. Our guest, Micah, had to reschedule. So we're going to try to get him in here in August. So you're stuck with me, Chris, and special guest, Mark Eddy, has decided to join us tonight. Brian, he was involved with something, so he may or may not be able to make it here. But regardless, we will be here. ERT Radio is always there for you, no matter where you're at, when you're there. You can just turn on it. You just turn your phone on. You can listen to it. ERT Radio just gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling. You're never, as somebody that's going to be on here, like his show thing, you are never alone. Like the Nightlight thing. So this is the radio version of Nightlight. You got Mark's show, and then you can also listen to ERT Radio to keep you company as well. And then you listen to some fantastic shows, music lineups that Ron's got set up there. Go to Mixlr.com and set up that account right there. Sit back, throw those questions at us. I said a couple people are already in here. Looks like Chris is already here. Debbie, hello. And so everybody just sit back. Like I said, think of those questions. Just ask us there, and we'll get right through that on the other side. The intro right now.
Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name is Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is quite impossible. I need you.
Then live to send the innocent to their death? Is this justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right. Hey, it's a good thing that intro came when it did. I almost died on the other side of that. Luckily, you guys didn't have to listen to that. I took a drink and I almost drowned myself. So if I look a little watery eyes, it wasn't I was having a good cry. As I literally almost drowned during the intro.
Wow.
So I'm in recovery phase right now.
So did you make some kind of exotic, spicy type meal tonight?
Not tonight. But you said that exotic meal. I did use some organic chilies from Harmon's Pepper Farm the other night on one of those things. Yeah, I don't know if I've got the picture up here. I haven't posted it on Instagram yet. I posted on Facebook. I'll have to see if I can find that, show everybody. But that was.
Was it like a Mexican type meal?
Asian cuisine. It was pan-fried noodles. And yeah, Chris grew those Thai chilies, and those things were fantastic.
Yeah, my Thai chili plant pumps out a lot of them.
Yeah, they had a really good flavor to them.
Chris, how big does the plant get?
It's really big. I can send you a picture after we get off the show. I mean, my buddy has one that's over I think your lifespan, maybe 10 years. He has one that's probably 3.5 feet, maybe 4. So they're hard to kill. So it's
there we go.
They're sweet. They're not sweet, but they're Thai chili peppers. So
if I put a couple on top for garnish, but if you look real closely right here by this bottom one, you can see one of the pepper rounds right there that was in the cooking. So, but yes, they were fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Nope, but I appreciate everybody doing that. That's one thing. If you guys want, if you're so inclined, I started Instagram thing for it, just make it easier. But if you guys want, you can go. So I just got Three Beard Chef. So it's just right there, and I'm just posting the pictures of the stuff I did. So and this is another one that this is fairly new. My wife surprised me with this. She ordered it's from Scotland. It's a wild Scottish gin. It's fantastic.
Gin make you Sam.
That is fantastic thing. That is it's really, really smooth. I'm not a big gin drinker, and I said that was really good. So it's kind of a nice like aqua colored bottle and everything too. It's really cool bottle. So yeah, so that's the thing. If you guys are so everybody watching, if you're so inclined, you can go on Instagram, Three Beard Chef right there. It's got my mug right on the thing. It says while you're in there, you can follow the podcast too. And I don't, Mark, do you and Barbara have an Instagram page? I'm gonna go with no.
I know I don't.
Just in the delays, I'm gonna go with no.
You put him on the spot. You had him fumbling like.
Do I? And Julie, do you FedEx meals? No, there's no Three Beard Chef. Menu plan thing where I can send it yet. That would have to become my full-time job. But this is the latest. This is the latest thing I did. This turned out fantastic, by the way.
I mean, I cook, just not as beautiful. So I mean, hey, I leave the beautiful cooking to Craig.
Chocolate lava cake with a dark chocolate sauce, and I and from scratch made berry compote. So all the plating's me, all the stuff. So there's, if you ever, and when you look at that page, I said that Instagram one, anything I post up there, it's something that it's going to be something. If there's food related, it's something I've made.
So where did you learn these chefing skills?
Self-taught. I from mom and dad growing up, we did a lot of stuff. The grandparents, just watching stuff, and then a lot of ones like this recipe, I got just an idea for these brownies, and then I went and found another recipe that talked about how to make a berry compote, and so I go through these things, and then I come up with my own way of my own take on it, like what I want to do, and then I just run with it. So all day when I'm working, it's picture like the Rain Man type thing. I've just got like this stuff floating around. I'm picturing all these things, and I'm like putting the stuff. And then when I get home, I'm just like focused. That's my.
So it actually spawned it. I remember when he came back from the cruise, he's like, I think I'm going to be a chef. I think I'm going to start making gourmet meals.
Yep. I was inspired.
Inspired by the cruise. Yes.
What? The numerous shows have is it Wolfgang Puck, Emerald. They have careers going with TV shows. There's so many other popular names, but they have the TV show, restaurant like New York and Las Vegas. There's a market for it.
It is.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like eventually, I think, I can't say never. It's just one of those things. It's fun.
We have a nice presentation.
I appreciate. Yeah,
it's colorful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I still, I think I'm not one of my hardest critics too. It's like I'll put some stuff out there, and I'm like, it looks like trash. And they'll have people like, "Oh my God, it looks amazing," and I'm like, "Well, thank you." I'm like, it looks. So your son says, "It looks like doo doo," and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, some of them I like the way they turn out. Other ones, I mean, there's just some interesting ones. I mean, I think these ones I'd never tried this before. My inspiration was Wendy's, their breakfast potatoes. They're those thin sliced wedges. And so what I did is I decided to try it. Well, I just did a take on it. So what I did is I thin sliced Yukon Gold potatoes, coated them with seasoning in cornstarch, and I threw them in the air fryer.
Gourmet air fryer meal.
And so they actually turned out really good. They were really crispy. They were stuff. It was just, do I think it was the most successful thing? I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Maybe you can really get your name out there if you go on CNN tonight and be like, if they find the people in the missing sub, you'll cook them a gourmet welcome home dinner.
If they survive, the last thing that they're going to want is my poultry cooking, especially since they're billionaires. They've got their own personal chefs to, so it's, prayers for the missing there, and type thing. But it's one of those, as every hour passes, it's less and less likely that those guys are going to survive.
No, they're done. Did they get eaten by a megalodon?
Well, it's. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened. They could have been, could have easily been run into by some large sea critter, that knocked into it and damaged it, and and that's all it takes, especially at that depth. I mean, even just a small puncture and that thing's going to implode.
Yep.
Because I can't remember the pressure. I want to say it's something like the equivalent of like an elephant per square inch.
That's what they said.
Is the pressure that's on that, so I mean, I know that's a highly scientific term. It's 1 elephant per square inch. It's kind of like that joke meme where it said 1 for scale, and it showed this guy laying next to the there, and they're like, I didn't realize this was an official measurement.
How close were they to the actual remains of the Titanic?
I seen a guy today on CNBC. I want to say it was an update. He said they probably made it there, more than likely, because he did like some mathematical calculations. He said if they were descending maybe 75 feet a minute or something of that magnitude, then they possibly made it there. So they could have got hung up on something down there, and they just can't get out. That thing doesn't have enough thrust to push itself out if it's stuck or tangled in some fishing line. I've been following it really close because it's pretty interesting. And
I was just gonna say, I heard some commentators say something like they could have been snagged by something from it, the Titanic.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, the person went into off on some other possibility, but I just didn't know if they were that close to the actual wreckage, or could this be something else? It just seems.
I think they have to stay a slight distance away just for the fact of how fragile it is. You can't. It's pretty much right now. You bump into it, and you're just basically it's going to just start disintegrating.
So the biggest question I have about this whole thing, nobody's explaining that aspect. So a ship drops it off, like a barge, a ship. It drops it off. So at that point, when it lost communications with the ship, wouldn't that have been the perfect time to try to figure out, like, hey, don't they need to come back up? Or, don't you think the ship should have stayed around until they figured out, it's 10-4, we just reached the Titanic, or some kind of sonar?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a lot of the unknown. I mean, it's Julie was actually just said kind of the same. With that kind of money, when you have a backup or an assistant standing by, something standing by. I don't know. I mean, I've heard a crazy conspiracy. I haven't had a chance to look into it. It's one of those that there's possibility that this was intentionally done. I don't know if there's any truth to that. So it's they might be involved in something that people would want if something was to happen to somebody on that boat, that it would be in their benefit. But real quick, country boy there, Chris. Yes, I do cook country folk food. I actually make a mean thing of biscuits and gravy, sir.
He's doing that elegant stuff that's a little bit too elegant for my blood.
Absolutely not. Jimmy Dean maple sausage, full fat. Take 2 of those things, you throw them in the cast iron skillet, you let those things cook. You don't drain that fat. You leave that fat in there.
No, sir.
You grab the flour, and then you toss the flour in there, and you go around until it starts becoming almost a nice little thick, kind of pasty concoction. And then as that's going right there, you've chopped up your onion, and you toss a whole onion in there to start cooking. Then you grab milk, and then you just put whole milk, start stirring that in slightly until it gets to the texture you want. Salt and pepper to taste. Let that sit and bubble. And then in the meantime, if you're so inclined, you can go with Pillsbury or whatever kind of biscuits if you're wanting quick, like the frozen ones. Or it's really simple to make scratch biscuits with buttermilk. You make those biscuits, same thing. And then as you're going, you have those in the oven. And then pretty much by the time the gravy, you want to start that gravy with about 5 minutes or so left on the biscuits. And then once that thing's done, boom, comes out. Got biscuits and gravy.
I know where
fry
I'm
up
going
some
Saturday
eggs
for breakfast. Craig's
Yeah,
house.
fry up some eggs. Do also. I said it's good old fashioned biscuits and gravy. And so that's pretty much there. And before we get too far into it, I'm going to show this here. Shout out to these guys. I'm going to try them out. Tom Cardos, turn me on to this thing. These are the Bigfoot Refinery Beard Company.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I've got a sampler pack of stuff coming, and if you can even see on their post here, out for delivery, that would be me.
You didn't even tell me about that one, Craig. I mean,
So
damn,
that's-
I thought I was your boy.
So one's sending one back to my old home state, Oregon, and the one's coming here to Florida. So I'm just waiting for it. I was hoping it would be here tonight so I could show everybody. I'm even wearing a Brian Squatch t-shirt here too. So yeah, so they're based in North Carolina, and so I just wanted to give them a plug because I was going to do it. It's like hopefully I get to try it. They've got some really cool names on them too. So that's the one. I can't remember off the top of my head all of them, but it's pretty cool little merchandise. They got I think it's all geared around. It's all geared around Bigfoot.
Maybe they can be our sponsor. Another sponsor.
One could only hope. One could only hope that we could bring them on board. Yeah, it was at the Peach Pit, Black and White, Barbershop, Campside Brunch, Homestead Harvest, Dapper Den, Twig and Berries. That one makes me laugh. And Hide and Seek. Those are the names of the beard oil.
If the hide and seek one is going to get you a little hide and seek, I'm trying to see.
So I'm hoping that the Homestead Harvest one is a lot like one of the former blends that we use all the time when we for brats. So I'm hoping. So yeah, Cinnamon Maltese. So yeah, Laura, yeah, Brian, he had some prior engagements. So yeah, so that's it's a cool name, the Bigfoot Refinery Beard Company. And so they just make small batch premium beard oils and balms right there in North Carolina. Thanks to Tom Cardos for, sending me that way to check it out. So it wasn't bad. It's like for the sampler pack and the bottle of their just like the regular pomade, I think it was $35. That was free shipping.
Oh shit! You gotta let me know.
Yeah, so I'll let you. When I get it, like I said, I'll send it that way. So yeah, that's that's pretty much all in that. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I just gave these guys a shot. Like I said, so I'm looking forward to. So hopefully, guys, they're Bigfoot Refiner. I will hopefully have a review for you next week when it shows up. So I'm still waiting. So that's all right. All right, that's enough gratuitous. That's enough whoring ourselves out for potential.
So back to the thing. What is your take on it? Do you think they're gonna find them? We're gonna start a thread on the group. Everybody comments yes.
I really hope they
no.
do, but man, this search area that they're looking for is the size
Size of Connecticut.
Yeah, state of Connecticut. That's even though it's a small state, that is a huge search area, especially when you're talking. I think it's God. Everybody's gonna hit me if I'm wrong here. I want to say it's like 12,000 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's
2 miles and a half or somewhere down. Yeah.
So that's the size of Connecticut, 12,000 feet down. You have to search that entire area.
No, and
So that is a massive volume of land. Land. It's volume of water to search.
and there's no light.
Yeah, that's so. I mean,
You only have a couple vehicles that can even go down that far on such short notice.
Yeah, Chris, we'll let you know if it comes in. It's like they've got the balms and stuff that works really good for forming. So like if you need mustache wax, those things are good. So especially if you want to do the classical, get the curl. I said I try to do that, and every now and then it just tickles my nose and drives me crazy. I'm like, that's enough of that crap.
But they've got a ship. They have nothing in the world that can actually pick it up at that depth. So they have, I want to say, a British ship coming in. It has an arm that has some cameras and stuff on it that can go down to that depth and see. Last time I heard it was probably like maybe a couple 100 miles out. It should be there by the critical time, which is in the morning sometime.
I think it was
like 7 a.m.
French.
Eastern time.
Yeah, so it's on the West Coast.
When the oxygen would be depleted, I just think that would be terrifying.
Shit, you too. I can't breathe. Like, you can't breathe. You're dark. You're cold. Very desolate condition. Like, yeah. I think that's a rough one. But I think I need to start a GoFundMe for idiots with money. If you want to donate money to the GoFundMe, I can tell you better ways to spend your money versus spending $200,000 to go down in a ship to see the.
I mean, it's a large submersible. I mean, when you talk about space-wise,
it's the size of a minivan. That's it.
It's 8 feet tall.
Yeah, the size
8 feet
of a
tall
minivan.
and 9 feet wide and 22 feet long. That's actually a pretty large submersible.
Only one person can stand up at a time.
Yeah.
With like 8 by 9. I mean, that's a set. That's one of those things like me. I could stand up there, and I said that would be plenty of space.
Yeah. But
yeah, I agree. That's the thing. Positive vibes. I said, hopefully, you don't want to see any tragedies. I mean, so hopefully they can. Hopefully this could come, some thing. But yeah,
if they were in the vicinity of the Titanic, how are the currents that strong where they would push the little submarine? Like Chris said, it doesn't have like a whole lot of thrust to it. So is it at the mercy of the currents that have taken it 60 miles away? It's like it just seems odd that there isn't a better way to pick up some type of the sound of it. I just makes me feel very uncomfortable. Just thinking about what they're going through.
Absolutely.
It's good. Funny you said that. I was just thinking it's in a way kind of like seeing what people think. There's different things like, what is that one thing that's like, it's almost like when something happens, you just have that gut instinct, it just bothers you. Like me is if I see somebody get stabbed with a needle. I'm all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I mean, that's for me. I mean, is it some people, it's like you see somebody trapped in an enclosed space, that claustrophobia kicks in. It's like me, for some reason, it's just something like whenever you see it in the movies, or even if it's like comedy, sort of when somebody gets nailed with a needle, I don't know what it is. And I'm not afraid of needles, but it's just that one. It's like, I'm like, oh, I can just feel it. And it's just weird. I know I'm weird.
Yeah.
I can admit it.
Yeah, it would, would it be just as frightening as, say, your rocket lands on the moon, and for some reason you realize ran out of gas, or for some they can't blast off. You're stuck. You're just stuck there for the rest of your life.
I mean,
Would that be even freakier?
no, I think I'd rather be stuck there. I mean, because if you get stuck, in an International Space Station or something like that, I mean, at least you can possibly survive. I mean, they can get you food up there, but here you're kind of doomed if they don't find you. So
the undersea stuff, other than talking with Max, I don't know the currents and that kind of stuff. I'm not specialist in the Titanic, so I don't know if there's like some, like, when it went down, were there pieces of steel that are still floating in the currents that could have wrapped around the submarine? I'm trying to understand it too, how this could have happened.
Yeah, that's the mystery, is like what just how this thing.
Did they kind of try to take it in through where the iceberg blew out the side of the ship, and they got stuck inside the Titanic? I don't know. I'm just
wouldn't that be? I mean, God, a set of irony. You go to look at the Titanic, you end up getting stuck there, and that's going to become your tomb.
Yeah,
just like the other people.
I'm just wondering if that's why they can't pick it up, since it could be inside another ship. I don't know. It's the whole thing just seems odd. What?
Yeah, and that's
if they were close enough to the wreckage, could they have bumped into something and somehow they got tangled in debris from the actual shipwreck, the 1912 shipwreck?
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I don't know. I don't know if it's deep enough. What the construction is like on that sub, but yes, at that depth, yeah, it can crush things. I mean, obviously the Titanic didn't just didn't collapse. So it's just because it was open there, but it wasn't pressurized. This one is a pressurized thing. So anybody's ever done those experiments where you suddenly go from zero and you do and all of a sudden it just.
There's a guy who did an interview. He was on it a couple months ago. It malfunctioned while he was on it. They just happened to be able to make it.
Chris, are you talking about the Josh Gates?
I think so. I seen it. I watched something about him today. He said he was on it and it malfunctioned, but everything eventually came back up and they were able to get up. But
he said he wasn't interested in going all the way to the wreckage.
Yeah,
it's like James Cameron. Yeah, Drew, you're right. I mean, he made mini trips down there. To look at that. It's that's one. Yeah, definitely. When it comes to like the current story, it's pretty amazing just how a little submersibles captured everybody's attention.
I know. I mean, but what's the backstory behind it? What's really going on? They don't want us to know about on the other end of other avenues, because this is taking like most of the newscast. Submersible missing with a billionaire on it. Yeah.
Well, actually, wasn't there a billionaire on the Titanic?
Yes, that is actually a story I didn't even realize. I want to say the last name. I want to say it's Astor.
That's it.
Actually, Mr. Hilton was supposed to be on there too, because I went to the Titanic Museum in Tennessee, and actually Mr. Hilton, who owned the Hiltons or something, was supposed to be on Titanic, but something came up and they didn't go. So it was a pretty good museum, the Titanic.
I mean, just to think about that, he had a personal fortune that was valued at approximately, and just think of when this went down. Think of the time. $150 billion. I mean, and like I said, nowadays you're like, well, that's Elon. No, I mean, most people never had a dollar in their possession. I mean, that's when everybody was buying stuff with bits. You'd have, it was portions of a quarter. You would just coins, pennies, penny sacks of sugar. I mean, that's, I said, this is that time when just like money, it's like for somebody to have a $5 bill would be like somebody walking around with a roll of hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays. I mean, just picture some guy pulling out his pocket and he's got a big wad of $100 bills. Back in that time, somebody pulling out a $5, $10 bill would be the same type thing. What it costs us to buy our McDonald's meals now, you'd be considered a major player back in this time. This guy's $150 billion.
No, I think that's a little over exaggerating. The McDonald's meal would.
What? No, the McDonald's meal right now, you're about $12.
But you're not rich. Then I mean, you don't have.
Well, if you can look it up there right now, I mean, somebody can look it up. What was the price of the voyage on the Titanic? What was the ticket price? I said, am I going to look it up? Because I don't see anybody moving. Chris isn't even.
My mouse is dead.
I don't know.
Mark said, we got a bunch of I don't know. Mark said, I don't know.
I'm looking at our ticket price for a voyage on the Titanic. I said, so we'll look.
If it's leaving from England, you have to calculate from pounds to dollars.
Yeah, the average cost of a first-class ticket to board the Titanic in 1912 was $400, and that would be considered. That would be paying $5,000 today.
Wow!
And so, basically, if you pick if you go on one of those cruises like nowadays, where I think one of the high-end cruises, isn't it somewhere around? Aren't you easily somewhere around $1,000 per person? For high-end cruise. Right. Yeah, it's something. So imagine how. So you're looking at this thing. If this guy's doing first-class ticket, that was $400. I mean, yeah, he's multi-billionaire. No, he was a major. He was a major thing. He's one of those little-known world movers. Like, he was actually a big thing. And then I guess the conspiracy around it is the Rockefellers, JP Morgan stuff were supposed to be on the Titanic too, and then they at the last minute, didn't go on the ship.
So did it go down?
Titanic, yes, it went down.
No, I wouldn't. No shit, Sherlock. But I'm trying to say,
Sorry,
was it
spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen the movie or read the paper. I'm sorry. It's down at the bottom of the ocean. I didn't mean to just spoil it here.
No, what I'm saying is, was it like, did they know it was going to go down? That's the question you wonder back in the day. 'Cause
That's
conspiracies-
part of the conspiracy is that the captain intentionally steered it into the iceberg to sink it.
Okay.
What motive did
I was getting that and thinking.
Well, the motive.
Captain Smith have to basically kill himself?
Well, see, that's the thing is I when I saw the conspiracy, it's like, because that's when anytime you see something that throws out a conspiracy, it's like you got to ask the W questions.
The when, what,
Who,
where,
what, when,
why.
where, why, like what would be the benefit? Who would benefit? In the captain's thing, it probably would have just been like, do this, get on a boat, we're going to give you this, we'll pay you off this thing. He wasn't able to make it the boat. And even better, the guy goes down with a ship, you tighten up a loose end. So that was part of the thing. It's like he went down, he ended up going down the boat, just for the fact of it, that tied up a loose end. But that by removing Astor, he was one of the holdouts that was pretty much preventing, the pieces moving. Like I said, I don't know the entire thing. I just go through there, but it's like he was J.P. Morgan, the Rockefellers and stuff. This was their adversary. Like he was refusing to go along with the program. So yeah, so that's kind of an interesting little theory on that one. So yeah, and that's JD Toby. Yeah, welcome to the show. It's appreciate the richest man at the time. Went down ship. He was super wealthy. Also, Carol Ryan. Thank you for joining on here. Yeah, we need to talk about that too. It's that's a good point. We'll just do that here. I've got a Sasquatch right here. So with all these acres burning, shouldn't there be just like anything else? When there's a forest fire, you see all the deer and everybody running. Shouldn't there just be a massive explosion of Sasquatch just coming out of the woodwork?
Maybe they all got burned up.
Yeah, so that was one of the. I did see that somewhere. There's like, now's the time to go. Everybody needs to be on the outskirts of these fires because we're going to see, a Squatch come running out of the woods. And yes, JD, that is actually, now that you said that, that's what I think. He was one of the adversaries of central banking. He was not a fan of that. And for anybody, this is a long conversation. It's more than my head can really wrap around. But central banking is basic. It's one of the largest schemes that's ever been perpetrated on the world, in how basically I get you to loan me, I take money from you to loan it back to you to make money off of you. And it's like I keep making money on top of money, and it's all coming from you. I have no risk. And that's what the central banking is. Like I said, it's a poor way to explain it, but that's pretty much the way. It's that they just keep, it's basically, it's just an incestuous thing. And they just keep making money for themselves.
Was that a Ponzi scheme of its era?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's in one that was designed. Yeah, it's pretty much. I've talked about kind of before where this is like where I want to buy something, so I literally just say I now have $10,000 and I put this in my pocket and I go spend the $10,000. Well, in this instance, you and me get arrested for that. That's called counterfeiting, fraud. Them, it's perfectly legal. I run the Federal Reserve. I can just print all the money I want and loan it to myself, buy all this stuff, and then the interest is paid through other things. So yeah, you're basically just buying us stuff for free.
Are they trying to do something like that now with the Fed now? Is that really going to start in July, or that's a conspiracy?
No, Fed now, that's one of those things too. The Fed now thing is strictly, could it be used somewhere? Could it expand? Obviously, anything can. Fed now is simply Bank of America, the Fed want to do a faster transaction. You just take whatever, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, anybody wants to do, it's not us. This is simply Wells Fargo needs to get the money from the Fed. This transaction now goes at a faster pace. So it's the Fed now. That's nothing. There's no conspiracy, in this thing as they're getting ready to take away. All this is they're basically eliminating, some of the paper trail, some of the stuff to where you have to do this, go through these processes. You're basically just streamlining the process. Fed, you're getting access to the Fed now. See, that's what the Fed now is. But is it something that's going to help could help usher in the digital currency? Yes. Because most places want to do that because you can track expenditures. Because you can't track if you go to your local farmer's market and you pick up vegetables and stuff and you pull out a $20 bill and you hand it to them. Well, you can't track that money. But if you go to a simple digital currency, then every single transaction doesn't matter. Chris, it's like, hey, I'd like to buy some of those peppers from you. Well, now the only way I can give you money is I got to Cash App you. I got to do something like this. That's a digital trace. Now the federal government can go in and they can pull all these things for tax records. They can see all these expenditures. They can see that, Chris, you were selling peppers to these people and you were not paying your taxes. And then they can go after you for your taxes. So what they're eliminating is the private, all these government entities want to eliminate private sales because you can't tax it. There's no way to enforce sales tax. And so, and that's JD's saying the exactly there. Guns, ammo, supplies, they can all be tracked. Thing like this employment too is the same thing. I can't hire you under the table now. Because there's no, it's going to show a record. Like, so if I hire you to DJ a party, well, I'm still going to have to show that I paid $300. I gave $300 to Chris. Well, the government's going to want to know, okay, Chris, where's your form on that? You didn't claim that as income. Because you won't be able, when it goes this digital, you're not going to be able to be, sexy boy 33956 at cashapp.com. They're not going to, that could be your title, but it's still going to say Chris Harmon. But it's still going to show who's involved in that transaction.
But how's that going to work with the replacement workers, with all the migrants that are supposed to take over, being lower wage paying employees who are, according to the theory, who are going to replace all the other people who now hold jobs?
That's going to be like, anything we'll buy will be tracked. That's kind of thing. That's part of the whole where you just pathway to citizenship. The streamlining it. Unfortunately, instead of it's the biggest thing. I think. A little sidebar on that. If they really wanted to fix the immigration thing, they need to make it easier to become a citizen. Get your green card. Because right now it can take years to get a citizenship, be able to come here. That's like, no wonder people come over, and just walk across to get to it. I mean, why not make it easy? Why not make it easier to get to this part to where you can actually come, and then you're not going to have as big of a problem. And that sort of thing. But what they want is we're always going to use the they. Nobody really knows who they are, but they want, they'll across the world, they want open borders because it's just across the thing, one world government. It's a conspiracy. No, I mean, if you think about it, if you go to a one world thing, then you have a universal law, you have universal control. Everybody's, everyone's
considered a citizen of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and that's where, that's where kind of like this thing is just, if you keep flooding, America is never going to, the only way to change America is we have to be dropped to the standards of the rest of the world. We're never going to be able to bring the world to the American way of living. There's not enough resources. It's not going to, there's no way to do it. There's no way to take somebody from Zimbabwe and suddenly bring them to the lifestyle of somebody living in California. It's not going to, there's no way to do that. There's no way to take the New York City type thing and bring somebody from the Amazon to that thing. It can't. There's not enough resources.
I mean, which they say California might look like Zimbabwe right now.
But that's what it is. You have to bring down, things have to be brought down to, they have to meet at a point. We can't, because a lot of people are like, why don't we just do this? What we've got here and just copy it around the world. It doesn't work that way.
Well, that's why they talk about, you look at the countries where socialism has been tried, and it
Maria, hello.
The people are sold on these great achievements that are supposed to happen according to the theory, but once it's actually put into practice, everyone's living in squalor.
Well, that's that's why citizenship is so important. But a lot of the reason, the people themselves they're just pawns, in this thing. It's, I don't blame somebody walking over, trying to work in a field, trying to work some job, because, doing drywall, over here is so much more better, more better. God, listen to me talk.
More better.
It's so much better, than what they were experiencing, what they had back, where they came from. So I don't fault these people for seeing this, the money's on the table, going after it. I don't fault. What I fault is the ones that are doing it, because it's a clear-cut plan where, by bringing people over, they don't understand English, they don't understand laws. So what happens is you create chaos, and the only agencies that can handle that kind of chaos is at the state and the Fed level. And the only way that they can stop those chaoses is with crackdowns. And what they need is the people of a community gets overrun, with a bunch of migrants coming in that they're looking for a better life. But what you have now is you have a bunch of people that they are, you got housing. Now you have housing, medical, food. You have all these different things that are happening. You basically just think of it like a spot fire. Well, you got to get somebody to come put out these fires. Well, the people that started the fires are the ones that are telling you, hey, I've got the solution. I can come put out that fire for you. You just got to tell me when you're ready. And that's what they want. They want to cause enough chaos to where you finally, American citizens, world citizens, whatever country it is, finally calls out for help make this go away. They will help make it go away. But then that's when we wake up one day and we realize we've now become citizens of the world and not individual nation states. So, and that's part of the, it's all planned.
Yeah.
You don't have to censor me. It's all, you can look in the World Economic Forum, as I said, fact checkers, it's pretty easy. Just what they were just talking about there in the Bilderberg, Davos. I mean, I said all that stuff is right there. I mean, it's not hidden. I mean, they openly say this is what we all want.
Yeah, the boiling
but they'll never get it.
They'll never get it as long as we, the people of the U.S., refuse to give up the Second Amendment. That is actually a well-known thing across the thing, that if we give up the Second Amendment, you guys are going to watch this thing ramp up it'll go light speed. You'll watch things change overnight, because
Absolutely.
right now you can't coerce and force somebody who doesn't, who can defend themselves. You can't, I said that's not, you can't force somebody to, somebody to do it. That's the problem, is they can't implement this stuff. So anytime you see people saying, well, the UN's going to do that, no, they can't until they disarm the American people. We are basically the last bastion that's holding back a lot of this new world order moving forward. And that's why you see so many fronts keep trying to chip away at it. And that's what's so critical. Yeah, it's just that, nobody likes to see schools getting shot up. Nobody likes to see the stuff, but it's one of those, it's what we've got to look at, the mental health side of this, and not, it's no coincidence that gun violence and all this other violence is creeping up, as across the board, we've been cutting mental health funding.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remembers growing up, there was always that, I'm going to get hate mail for this, say there's a loony bin. That's where all the crazies, are locked up. And there's a reason why we did that, is because these people needed help. They needed to be set apart from society to get help. Well, now you don't have that. So what does that person do? Instead of getting help, they're, we've just left them run loose throughout society, and we have problems. Like I said, that was a sidebar, so we can steer back to where we were.
Well, this chaos that you are referencing is just taken right out of the Communist Manifesto playbook.
Mhm.
But it's in there, so it's disrupt the natural relationship between a parent and child. Always calling for revolts and overthrowing the like business owner, the bourgeoisie.
Well, that's just like I said. It's the deep rabbit hole. The government causing mass shootings. It really is, because there's not. When you hear somebody say like it's this person, it's a long-term game. This is one that's been happening for a long time. This isn't something that some Democrat or Republican just got elected into office and now I've crafted this plan on how, if I do this, no, this is something where we're dealing with. We're going to get back to the theys again. This is one of those things where it just, you move the little pieces here and there, and it starts causing the little ripples. And those, just simple thing, closing down one mental health facility. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Nobody really notices it. After a while, it starts compounding. Well, then you start causing this ripple effect that just gets more. It's kind of like boiling water. You got the single bubbles. Now we're getting this rolling bubble. Now we have this thing right now where you can start to see, like I just said a few minutes ago, you can see it right now. How many, you've seen people on news, on just celebrities, other different people, they're calling out, this chaos has to stop. When will this stop? They're calling for those above them to come down and make this stop. And that's part of the thing. And that's Charles, 6,000 years of hierarchy. Yeah, this is like I said, this is long term. We're not talking like 20, 30 years. This is just a long game. That's what the founding of this country was, such a shockwave. This was not this was an aberration. This is the first time this has ever happened in human history, that we've had this kind of self-governance. This has never happened before. And so that's why it's been such an anomaly. And that's why, in a way, America took off, but we've lost. It goes back to that. We're going to go to one of our Andrew Jackson, one of our amazing, who went from divine providence to manifest destiny, and that was probably some of the markings of when America started to go off the rails. Is when we suddenly went from, this was a blessing given to us by God, who could put us in this position, because we were at that point. I'm not going to say we were living in harmony, but we weren't really at war with the First Nations and stuff. But once Jackson came in with the Manifest Destiny, that's when it was, that's our land, it's ours. And they started moving them. You got the Trail of Tears, you got stuff. And that's when we became almost like the expansionists, where we just started hey, you want our freedom, we're going to go give it to you. Boom. That was part of the issues with there, but that's, like I said, my mind. You got to keep me focused here.
Uh,
I will.
No, well, yeah, I like to focus on Charles' comment. Is he's right. You can go back to 2,000 years to um, some of the comments in the Book of Revelation, and go back further into like Daniel, so some of those other books in the Old Testament. Going back. I don't forget exactly when they were written, but we're going back. I'm agreeing with Charles that this idea has been around for a very long time. You get samples like Alexander the Great. It's probably for that was probably an effort for a one world government.
Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, that was probably, I think the Romans, I think those are probably three really good iterations of, that were really close to like a one world rule.
And I think when Victor Baines was a guest covering some of the Nostradamus's prophecies, who some of these evil world leaders were. He's talking about Hister, probably Napoleon, and this unidentified Mabus.
Yeah, who
So,
was Mabus?
Yeah, so the Beards have covered that topic. A few examples of those kind of leaders that have emerged over the last 400 years, but I'm sure that many of the people you mentioned, I don't know, Caesar, or basically had that design for themselves.
Charles, and that's one thing I say it all the time. Greed is a cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that it's really easy. It can start small and little things, but just it doesn't matter what it is. It's all consuming, because all you do is you just live. Julie, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, it's because for me it's just like I was saying, is you can see some of those people where that's all they want in life is they want more. They're never content with what they have. They never take the time to look around and see, like, every now and then I have to tell myself, it's like, look around. It's like, it's like, man, I wish I had this. I wish I had this. But in the meantime, I look back and I'm like, I really need to be appreciative of what I have. I'm like, I've got, there's not a lot of people that can have 3 or 4 TVs in their house. Be sitting like this with 2 computers, talking right here. It's one of those things. Yes, would it be nice to do these things? But when it comes down to it, it's like, I really am blessed. It's one of those. I really have to go through with the humbling, because that's one thing. It's like, I have to keep guard against greed. That is a cancer that will consume you. Yeah, it is definitely something. And it's, hey, King, hey, you made it. Speak, so he can speak things. How are things down that way, sir? He's down near the border. And yep, that's the thing. You can't always get what you want. That's right. It's one of those times. It's amazing if you actually take the time to look at what you have. You realize you have quite a lot, and it's things things are in really good shape. I mean, it's just, I think it's like son's healthy, it could be so much worse. There's so many things that could be worse. So that's usually what I tell myself. And then, I don't know. The ray of sunshine is just basically spend time with loved ones, spend time with family. There's always ones that wanted the one world government thing. There's always times where it's like guard against it, but don't obsess on it. Because it's one of those things, just watch stuff. I mean, because I think I've talked to you about that, Chris. At times, like when you obsess on stuff, it becomes consuming. It's like, yeah, you can be prepared, but then there's that fine line where preparation becomes obsession, and then all you do is like everything's this, and you can't ever get out of that mind frame to where you can just enjoy the now. And that's what a lot of people need to do. People need to take a little time to enjoy the now, because like I said, things can change overnight. As people on the show know, things can change overnight. It's like, Mark,
Yep.
I think out of all three of us knows very well, that thing, just how things can change just overnight.
I'm trying not to get the Three Beards banned from the internet. I'm trying to be.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't get us banned.
I'm not. I could easily just go onto a tirade, but I'm not.
Well, we could sidetrack, right? Like here, just get Chris was saying he's noticed a lot of immigrants moving to West Virginia, and what is the draw for West Virginia? Because Mark, you and Chris both live there, so I mean, obviously there's agriculture. I mean, that's in their thing. I mean, it's
there was
coal.
The fracking.
Yeah, I mean,
that's slowed down obviously since January 20th of 2021.
Jay, that is actually it. That's one of the things. It's besides my cooking, that is real. That's not fake. And that's not super expensive either, people. Most of those ingredients are bought at Walmart.
No,
Walmart
like
or a local grocery
$300
store
a day.
called Key Foods. These are not high end, besides Harmon's organic peppers, everything is, available to everybody. I mean, I'll go look most of the ingredients. If I take a picture of them, you're going to see great value on most of the stuff you're going to see going in these dishes. So these aren't some high dollar things.
Craig, with your financial knowledge, you could do something
Mark
to
300 bus.
have Chris have a big garden with his pepper plants and develop have enough of the Cuisinarts and all this other cooking stuff, the pans, plates.
Well, thank you very much.
You could develop something like garden to plate.
Well,
type
I've
restaurant.
thought about that. It's one of those things. You can buy like the mushroom soup. You can buy the little thing at Walmart for $3, and you've already got the base there. You don't have to be the do all these fancy steps that take hours to do these. Prepare to have this, all these depths of flavor. The mushroom soup that they have there is actually, really good. It's real simple to add a couple things like in a pot to get a couple things that we'll go Walmart, go to the mushroom aisle, grab some of the mushrooms that they have there. If they have oyster, if they have shiitake, if they have these, you can grab a couple of these things, fine chop them, throw them in the pot with some butter, garlic, seasoning. Let those things just cook and reduce down to where they get really soft. Just keep going right there. Then you take that base right there, put that in the pot, start stirring that around. If it, as it starts to thicken, you can add a little cream, little milk, thin it out a little bit as you cook there. Take that, taste it, if it should taste pretty good at that point. Scoop it, put it in a bowl, ladle it, saute some mushrooms, throw them on top, little cheese right here, and boom, you have a plate. And that's kind of what like, I've thought about doing it, just like showing people. It's like you can cook these kind of things where they can look good, and it's not going to cost you hundreds of dollars. You're not going to have to go to 3-star, 4-star restaurants to have these type of things, because Chris knows how to cook a steak. This is good as a steakhouse. So you add a couple of these other components, he could have a steak, he could have a Ruth's Chris, Charlie's steak. You could have these type of steak dinners for a fraction of the cost at your own home, and you're saving a ton of money, but you're having the same ambiance, you're having the same thing. It's like that one. I see if I can bring that back up there.
That's what I started doing at home, just cooking my own steak because it's cheaper, and I feel like I cook a better steak on the Big Green Egg. So I just started doing my own steaks.
Yeah, it's just like right here. This one kind of, you can have that kind of a mushroom soup if you like mushroom soup, because you don't have to go with a couple of little steps like I did, where I actually made the base. But you could do that. Basically, I basically made what you can buy at Walmart already. So now you just take that, toss in a couple extra, some mushrooms for added flavors, put the stuff on top, and that's what you can have. Yeah, and you guys could have the same exact thing right there, and yeah, and then Chris is saying those pepperoni rolls. Yeah, see, like those things, you can make some really cool. Chris needs to bring me one of those steaks you speak of. He does bring some of those things in.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
And that's what I said. It's real simple, because like the liquid you see on top of here, that is the drippings from the mushrooms. As cooked them with cracked pepper, salt, a little bit of garlic. Those are portobello mushrooms. Sauteed those. A lot of people call it the W sauce, Worcestershire. You take that, shake that on a little bit, and that's what gives it that really nice darkish brown color. And that sauce that comes from there, that's what you drizzle around on the soup. And
now, are the mushrooms served on top of noodles, or is that like shredded mozzarella cheese?
That's sharp white cheddar. That's it. I said. Yeah. So, well, see, like that Subway sandwich. There's really, really cool ways you can zhuzh that up too, if you wanted to. Just depending on what kind of sandwich you have. It'd be really easy to take the bread, take separate like that. You can turn, I'm not sure. Mona, like I said, I'm not sure what kind of sandwich you have. Let's just say you have like they're Italian. It'd be real easy. Take the bread, scrape whatever condiments you have on there, take some butter, garlic, open face, right on the griddle. I said, now you can turn, and then once those start sizzling, turn them over, put a little cheese on there, put them under your broiler, and now you have a cheese garlic bread. And now you can put the rest of the sandwich, you can put that on there, layer it on. If you have spicy brown mustard, if you have something like this, now you can actually make this garlic French bread sandwich sub. And most people have butter, garlic powder. You have this stuff. You don't have to have, like I said, most people will get these things where they'll tell you, like with your ingredients, you'll see them on the fancy shows. They got, you grate this. You don't have to do that to get complex flavors. Yes, you're going to get it when you do, as you do these things, you'll have those ones. But garlic powder, parsley flakes and stuff, like I said, was just great value shredded cheese blend and butter on the thing. And you can have an amazing piece of cheesy garlic bread. And it's like, it's like maybe that is, so it's, yeah, and that's the thing. There's real easy ways to, to take just everyday things here. I mean, you don't have to, you make that basically turn it into a panini. I mean, you can make these really cool things, and you can have these really cool looking meals, and it's not.
Well, correct. And a lot of people have becomes
Or
so
you can
much
order it at
more.
yes, or you
It,
can just order it from Subway that way.
well, yeah, they've
True.
become much more health conscious, and like the mushroom soup. Um, with mushrooms, you're getting all kinds of the trace elements that your body needs. It's they're very nutritious. Uh, f- they are a very nutritious food source. We're talking about certain. f- uh, there are some places that sell sandwiches where the salt content is really high.
Astronomical.
Yeah, like it's like you eat um from the processed foods that are put on the sandwich. It, yeah, I've seen somewhere it's like 94% of your daily recommended allowance for salt. Like you really
Hmm.
shouldn't be eating anything else all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's just it.
But
It
and just dealing with just certain people with Victoria would be one of them where uh I think people are becoming a lot more aware of the foods they want to avoid and what they are looking for to have in their diets. I think there's cultural change going on that way.
like this. You can make this in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not,
Hmm.
and you've eliminated a lot of
Yeah,
processed
it's
foods.
and this is simply and just to show everybody. This was from Walmart. This was their frozen shrimp.
Mhm.
This was portobello mushrooms from there, and these were I can't think of the name, the brand name. It's down here in Florida. It's another, but these are just your standard grits, like your quick grits. And so
Quick grits, Dixie grits,
yeah, I can't remember the name brand. I'd have to.
Quaker grits.
Yeah, it's there's you're gonna have people that prefer it for grits. You make up the grits. You have like I said, we're talking great value here. Great value, whipping cream. So the grits, butter. So you take that. You're making you're following the grits, and at the same time, you've got two other little saute. You just have I say saute pans. You just have two other little skillets going. Um, Same thing. Portobello mushrooms. You're going to start those on one side. Same thing. Salt, pepper, little Worcestershire sauce. Just let those things go. The shrimp. As the grits are getting close to being done, the shrimp doesn't take very long. So as your mushrooms are as all this is coming together, you're going to throw your shrimp into the skillet with a little bit of butter, Cajun spices. So that is those are blackened seasoned shrimp. And so what you do is you take the shrimp. Now, once everything is done, you take your grits, put it in a bowl, put a little cheese mixture on the top. Then you layer your mushrooms on there. Then you take your shrimp that you just cooked, put them on there, and then you take the liquid because now you have a Cajun with the butter, the stuff that's the blackened shrimp. Now that is that we see on the bottom there. Now that's your Cajun butter. Take that, you drizzle that around the side, drizzle that a little bit over there. You cut up green onions, scallions, chop those on the bias, which is that shape right there. It's at an angle. And then you just put those over the top of it, crack some pepper over the top, and ta-da, you have a meal. That's it.
Oh, looks delicious. Mona has been commenting about your presentations as well.
And that's
Feel like
yeah, and that's the one thing. It's just it's really, and that's a person. That is more than enough. Like I said, it's a bowl that's probably about like that big. I mean, it's tons of food, and it's really good. It's not hard to do. It's just I think for a lot of people, I think myself included, like there's a lot of things where I feel, it's almost intimidating sometimes when you have to make some stuff. like this. Sweet potato mash. These are pre-made Idell's chicken teriyaki meatballs. And then Mark's favorite thing, courgettes, yellow and zucchini squash, the courgettes, and steamed broccoli. Like I said, it's a really healthy meal. And then you just take a little homemade teriyaki sauce, pineapple juice, brown sugar, and soy sauce. And you have teriyaki sauce. That's all it takes. You don't have to buy that, like Mark was saying, all that sodium in a pre-made sauce. It's real easy. You can get, there's a product from Bragg's that's healthy. It's called Liquid Aminos. It's a soy sauce alternative. It's like a fraction of the salt. And you can cook
Is that
that.
the same person that makes is that the same person that makes the vinegar, Bragg's apple cider vinegar?
The apple cider vinegar with the mother strain. Yep, those ones, same company. Very good product at Liquid Aminos, and super simple. Like I said, it has the same flavor profile, but just a fraction of the salt. And so yeah, you have you have a quick healthy meal. That's it. And it's nothing. There's nothing super complicated. It's a matter of, I just put a little extra flair in making it. Because the eyes are an incredible part of when you eat. I mean, you take the picture right there, or where somebody will take a picture of their food and it's all kind of gray and brown, in the colors. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's not appetizing.
It's not. It probably tastes fantastic. It's like, for me, you want to look at something, you want to be able to eat it. So it's the same way. It's just, and it doesn't.
Well, the colors you use with like the green in the broccoli or the yellow peppers, just really really pop. They pull you into the want to look more at what else is on the plate, and like you're saying with the gray food. Yeah. I think most people.
One of the worst things you can do is boil a chicken breast. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Boil chicken breast? Who boils chicken breast?
Plenty of people. Whatever you do, don't boil chicken breast. No. It's one of those. There's no flavor. It dries it out. Yeah. Just no. No boiling the chicken breast. Yeah, there's different. I mean, it's one of the, I think that's one of the things that inspire me. As we're talking about it, I mean, I think I'll do probably do that too. It's like this one, simple, easy. Idell's Italian sausages, asparagus, and I tied them with an onion and green onion to make for the tie, and use the same thing. You cut up the onions and it's an onion gravy with chicken stock, and those are mashed potatoes. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you got to shred chicken, you bake it. Yeah, just don't ever boil your chicken. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So how do you make chicken and rice?
I don't make chicken and rice. It's the easiest. One of the easiest way when I was growing up, you would just take the minute rice. You'd put that in a pan with, usually it was like either mushroom soup or cream of chicken soup, and then you just put the chicken breast. You do a quick sear on the chicken breast, and then in the chicken, and then you'd put that inside the pot. In the pot, you put that in the pan, cover it with foil, and you bake it until the chicken's ready.
Okay, is that rosemary you have on top of the chicken?
Yes.
Are you growing that, or is that growing at Chris's house?
I've got to grow. I actually need Chris to start growing herbs for me.
Okay.
I need thyme, rosemary, dill, all those. Yep, bangers and mash.
Yeah, Chris, how are you growing your
Wish I had a picture I could share.
chilies or whatever else are growing. Do you have a garden, or are you using containers?
No, it's in an organic like meth pot that holds water. And I water it.
That's where you said meth pot.
Every other day. Mesh pot. I water it
I
every other day. It
I
holds
swear
water.
I heard meth. He grew it in a meth pot.
You got the picture I sent you, right?
Yeah, but you sent it to I would need you to send it to Messenger so I can put it up on screen. It's on you sent it to me through text message. And I can't bring that up on
Let's see if I can
screen.
find it real quick.
I was gonna say if you had that I could bring that up. Yeah, and see that's the thing, is just a lot of people just when you're looking at foods, a lot of people just I want to say it's just intimidating. Like people are just like, I don't have the time. Some things like this one definitely, yeah. Jay's like, meth pot. I heard it. I'm like, I know. I wasn't crazy. I'm pretty sure he said meth pot. Yeah.
I said mesh pot.
I know. But it's that's the, like I said, I can't make a chicken fried steak that would make you eat. That's what's cool. And Mona said she heard meth pot too. All right, so it's consensus. Chris did say meth. Yeah, we'll have to edit that part out, Ron. Yeah, the courgettes. Yeah, like Mark's favorite word, courgettes. The courgettes, the zucchini and stuff. It's just the fancy way of
Also,
saying
didn't know
it.
if you were talking about cougarettes either. But it's like,
Yeah, that's a whole different kind of meal.
yeah.
See, like this one, people, super simple. Super simple. I even cheated on this one. This is barbecue pork, boneless barbecue pork ribs from the Asian Asians. We have one here in town, China Walk. So I had those. So all I did is I saw them. They were leftovers. They were in the fridge. And that's the thing, the cooking. It's like, it doesn't have to be from, you're cutting up pork and you take already ingredients. I'd slice those up. I threw them in the pan, mixed them with a little ginger, little rice wine vinegar, got those things, sauteed those up. I laid those out on there. At the same time, I made a pack of pork ramen noodles. And I added ginger, I added, garlic, I had other to the mixture put there. And then I topped it with that pork on both sides with the green onions cut on the bias, like I said, and sesame seeds. And ta-da! That's it. That's a sushi mat, by the way.
It does.
Mona.
No, that's really tasty.
Okay.
Have you tried making Indian food?
Yes. I haven't shared the picture here. Butter chicken. I said I could bring that up there. It's like, yeah, that's. I like to do that one. I say like your salad, super simple. That's just chopped up and I just put it inside one of the romaine leaves. A little Caesar salad. That's it. Those are those potatoes. Stuffed shells with ground turkey. I said, that was fancier. I made that dessert.
What's that?
That is an almond dark chocolate tart. So it's with molasses, brown sugar, eggs, and butter. You mix that up from the mixture. So it's butter, cream cheese, and flour for the crust. You make that into the dough. You form that into your muffin tin. Basically, make it in a ball, and then you form it into your muffin tin, and then you leave a gap, and then you put the chopped up. The recipe had called for pecans. Wife's not a fan of pecans, so I used almonds. So I just put chopped up almonds. Then I put dark chocolate chips, put those in there. Then I spooned that mixture into them, and then I baked it. It took about 35 minutes to bake. And then I just used chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, put a little of the chopped almonds on there, and whipped cream. Great value whipped cream, by the way, and great value almonds. See, they're not fancy, people.
When I was having to go to do my personal ambulance service to Pittsburgh from time to time, I was stopping at a bakery that um, um, where they were making something like what you were just discussing, like the little um, dish with the nuts and the chocolate chips in it.
Hmm?
But like they were using that one. Um, this bakery I would visit. They were doing some like blueberries, strawberries, uh, I think they had raspberries and blackberry. Different types of those like I would c- they were almost like little like the little tarts. Yeah, they had some that were kind of like a personal sized uh, uh, pie. I don't know how to describe it. It was, I guess you can cut it in half, and two people would have an, enough like um, you know a small piece of pie for two people. Yeah, it's not quite like a normal size pie that most people would have like after a meal. And these were maybe a little bit larger than that photo, but um, I was wondering if you've worked with some of the different berries with that kind of crust.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually, I'm sure it would work because that berry compote I made. There's
That's Chris's.
there's the Thai chili plant from Harmon's pepper farm that I use personally for those things. Yeah,
Hmm.
those were amazing. That's the meth pot.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
probably why they tasted so good. It's made with 100% pure organic meth.
And it also grows
Mhm.
beach balls.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's 100% meth. I'm not sure. So anybody else see these bugs? Yeah, it's a no that it's that they were fantastic.
What
So
bugs?
well done. No, it's talking about meth. You know how they're meth addicts always feel like there's bugs crawling under their skin.
That's
My next one is a Carolina Ghost Scorpion Pepper, and
Yeah,
then
I told him I was like,
a
who's going to eat this? I'm like, unless you're going to make your own hot sauce. No, I'm like, I'm not going to use that in cooking.
is that Chris, is the or like Scoville unit really high on
yeah, that's
the,
the world's hottest pepper.
Yeah, the equivalent
You
of
gotta
like
have
11,000 jalapenos.
Scoville. You gotta have a pair of gloves to pick it.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's some that there. I think it's like you're on the approach like 1 million.
Yeah, that's it. Carolina Reaper. Pull it up.
That's
See
what
if
it
you can
is.
pull it up. I actually wanna grow banana peppers next too.
Yeah, those
But
ones. Those ones.
the problem is they're so organic that they grow really fast. Like I got like 30 peppers on there right now, and I just gave Craig a whole bunch. So I got about 30 on there right now. And I hate to waste food. Like I hate to just grow it just to grow it. I mean, I eat them, but I can't eat them fast enough. And then I got a bag in the fridge, and then I don't know. One of my next door neighbors liked them, and the other one never commented back. So I don't know if it burned a little toot, but
Yes, we'll wrap up. Chef talk here. Like I said, that was one.
No, no,
No, these ones.
it's
This is sweet
interesting.
potato. I got it. There's a Key Foods. It's one local here in Winter Garden, and it was a giant sweet potato. I just sliced them. I would say those were about somewhere close to a quarter-inch thick slice. I just sliced them, then threw them in vegetable oil fried them until they started turning golden brown, brought them out, seasoned them with a little cumin, paprika, garlic, salt, and then layered on them. At the same time, I had in a cast iron skillet on the stove while the oil was heating, I was searing the chicken breasts and actually cooking the chicken breasts. And so as the chicken's cooking, as soon as the chicken's getting close to done, Mark's favorite word again, I threw the courgettes in there, the yellow squash, threw that in there. And like I said, as the things came out, then you just layered those, what the fancy is batata, Frita, otherwise known as fried sweet potato. And I just layered those on there, put the chicken breast on there, put another one, topped with little parsley flakes, put the courgettes on the side, and sweet hickory sauce, otherwise known as Sweet Baby Ray's brown sugar hickory sauce. Just smeared that on there. Like I said, super easy. Like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated. Can you make the barbecue sauce yourself? Yes. But most people, you don't have 3 hours to cook every night. So you can use what you have right there, and everybody's got something in the fridge that you can tweak it in some way and actually make it a little fancier. Same way, you like ketchup, you can take your Heinz ketchup, whatever you have, you can make it a little fancier. You can do little Cajun spices. If you have Tabasco, if you have it's Frank's red, you can have this. You can add this to the ketchup with the little stuff and actually make a spicy ketchup. That'll taste a lot, have a whole different flavor set to go with your foods. You don't have to food doesn't have to be boring, people. It doesn't have to be boring.
Food doesn't have to be boring.
No, it can be exciting and simple. Like this meal, half hour. That was it. Yeah, clean up. I make an absolute mess. Clean up. Oh my God. It looks like a bomb goes off there. There's oil splatters everywhere. I think I tried to start 2 fires doing this meal. At one point it was splattering on because I haven't one of those, the glass top stoves. So the oil was splattering and I could see it flash a couple times underneath the pot. So I tried twice to start a little blaze. So yeah, I did my best to be the Swedish chef. Let me tell you. Yeah, so that was.
Next, you're gonna see Craig on Gordon Ramsay.
No, all I could say is just like I come up with some ideas like that one. I think I showed you as a spring rolls. That was last night's. I can't remember if I showed that one. Last night once. This one was just simply I was working. I just thought about it. We had some leftovers. We had leftover ground turkey and vegetables. So I'm like, what am I going to do with those things? So I went to the store. I bought rice wrappers. So the spring roll wraps. So I was experimenting with it. They're hard to work with. They're all sticky. Once they get wet, they're sticky and they stick to each other. So you can't even come. It's like magnets. Can't even come close to each other. They're just suddenly they're one. So I just put those there, rolled them up, threw them in. Same thing, vegetable oil. That was a challenge.
And you're deep frying those?
Those ones are fried. I'm going to probably try them in the air fryer next to see how those do. And then on the bottom of that, you can see down here around here with the cursor. For those who think, on the bottom, I had some rice noodles, and so what I did is I boiled those. That took 4 minutes. Well, then after I got done frying the spring rolls, I set those aside to rest. And then I just took the cooked strained rice noodles and I threw those in there and fried the rice noodles for a bait. So for another crunchy aspect. And then just cut up the vegetables, put those with there. We had leftover sweet and sour sauce from Chinese the other night. So I just used that sweet and sour, just reused it. Mm-hmm. And I got taken care of the leftovers. So instead of making up another sauce, I could just reuse that. But it's one of those. Yep. And that's one of those things, appreciate. Yeah. But yeah, it's fried pickles. Those are fantastic.
Yeah. I grew up on those.
You can even get those. There's one, Aldi's has them, like Sucker Punch. I think that's the name of their brand. It's like they're a spicy pickle. They make bread and butter, and then they have either dill pickles, and so you can take those things and those would be really good battered and fried. Anything's good battered and fried. Let's be honest. It's not the healthiest for you, but my God, I mean, it's if there's a it's like state fair. I mean, they've even done if it's possible, they've fried it up at a state fair. County fairs. I mean, I think I've even seen like butter, deep fried butter before. I mean, it's like but let me tell you, oh my God, if Oreos and Twinkies are some of the best things deep fried. Not good for you at all, but oh my God, do those things. A deep fried Twinkie is absolutely phenomenal.
It is amazing. Only thing better than the only thing better is a freeze dried Twinkie.
Yeah, it's just something about that funnel cake batter. Wrap that in the Twinkie, and then it's just said you bite into that thing. The Twinkie, the outer part of the Twinkie is crunchy, and then that filling is hot. So, oh my God, yeah. But I had to go to County Fair to try it, or just it's real simple. You can just it's real easy to make funnel cake batter. You just buy a pack of Twinkies and just throw them in real quick. It's just, but my God,
you gotta freeze them first.
Oh no, you don't have to freeze them.
Yeah, you do, because you have to freeze them, because I did Oreos, and if you don't freeze them, they get all mushy and stuff. So you freeze them first.
That's what makes them amazing. It's like that. So the inside is just like, oh, this is so tasty. Yeah. So that's all right. So this has been food talk. So now everybody's going to go and gorge themselves. Everybody's gonna be raiding the fridges, so I apologize for the late night.
I think you have a career like being a culinary arts professor at a community college, and Chris can gross the herbs and some of the vegetables that you would julienne for the students. It's like I think you guys would have like a nice combo.
Oh, I'll feature some of the vegetables, yeah, as he grows them. Not the Scotch bonnet and the scorpion peppers and all that stuff, because there's no dish that's going to be able to survive that. Some 15 alarm chili. Yeah, it's the thing, but it's like I did once again a gratuitous self plug. If you guys want to, I have a thing, 3 Beard Chef on Instagram. If you guys want to follow it, I'll put the pictures right there. And also anybody, honestly, if you guys want the recipes, you want like what I did, just comment on something like that, and I can give it to you. Because like I said, I know Laura's asked for a few things, and I've given her the recipe, like how to make some of the sauces that I do. And it's a lot of the stuff is just, it's super simple. I mean, it's just just the basics. I mean, it's nothing like when you're cooking chicken and steak, like in a skillet. Some of the easiest things, right as you finish it, throw a few things of cube butter in there, right as that's starting to sizzle and stuff like that. Toss in whether it's chicken or beef, chuck in your stock. Put a little bit in there, let that simmer, once that reduces down, now you have your sauce for your food. Now you can serve it. You can just spoon that right out of there and drills that over your food, and you've got your sauce. It's right there. You didn't have to dirty another pan. You didn't have to make anything, and you've got your sauce. Yeah, my wife actually busts my balls sometimes about making food too fancy.
I know, it sounds like she does.
She gives me a hard time. She's like, she'll just give you a hard time every now and then. It's like, can we just have a normal meal? And I'm like, it's fun. So, what other secret talents? The only other thing that's secret, just my secret, my little weird quirks. Like I won't drink water out of the bathroom. I just have stuff like that. I won't do it. It's like,
you won't drink water out of the bathroom.
Nope. It's
come out the same faucet.
That's the thing.
It's not tied to the toilet, Craig.
Nope, and it's in the same room that you do all the other sort of cleanings. So that's what I said. It's not for me. I will not drink water out of the bathroom. It's like I will go all the way downstairs to get a glass of water before I go in the bathroom. I have to be having a raging case of heartburn for me to even remotely drink a glass of anything out of the bathroom.
No, when Craig, when you were little, did you have a problem with food touching other a different
Oh yeah, yes, my food.
food? Did that have any play in you becoming this chef?
I could be, because just like this one, even though this is what I prepared, I'll show this picture here. This is actually, if you ever see me dish up food, this is exactly how it'll look on my plate. If I was over at your house and you guys were serving dinner and I was dishing up, this is what it would look like, because things will not touch. I can't. So yeah, it's like even Thanksgiving dinner is the same way. Turkey's over here, mashed potatoes, corn, everything's separate. And when I eat it like this, I'm not going to take like this pepper and mix it with a salad and take a bite. No, I'll eat this. I will eat the salad, and then like I said, I'll eat it one at a time. But I'll never like combine this stuff. Like I won't take a bite of the salad and then take a bite of the steak or something. No,
I'll mix everything together. Shit.
Nope.
Everything gets mixed together on my plate.
No, it's like, yeah. Yeah, that's Charles. Like, where do you brush your teeth? Same thing. I usually will use a bottle of water. There. I don't drink out of the. It's like if I'm at a pinch, like I said, it'll do the same thing, but I'm spitting it back out. I'm not. I didn't say it was intelligent. I didn't say that this was something like, I encourage no, this wasn't a lecture. This is just me being a, cuckoo, a little bit of a cuckoo bird. So it's like, yeah, that's a MAL. Yeah, that was my idea. As I told my wife, I go, fancy salad. She's, and she rolled her eyes. I'm like, yes, I used the romaine lettuce as the bowl for the salad. And over there on the cutting board, I chopped up all the other lettuce and I mixed in the Caesar dressing with the croutons, the red onion, and put it all nicely inside the lettuce, and then crack some pepper, and then put a little bit of cheese on it. And I'm like, ta-da! And she just shakes her head. So yeah, but yeah, that's me. That's me being a weirdo. So enough of that. So just follow. Yes, if you want, Three Beard Chef on Instagram, or just follow. Follow along on my journey. Even on Facebook, I post that stuff there too. I said I try to post. I think I'm up to like 20 things or something like that on that. So it's just, just follow us along, comment, let me know what you like, what you think looks gross, what, I don't care. As I said, I like talking to people. So Mark, what do you got coming up on Nightlight, sir?
Last night I had Dennis Stone on talking about all the America's Stonehenge summer solstice stuff that went on today. You can still go up there for the next Thursday and Friday. Pretty much get the same kind of view of the summer solstice stones, and that archive is available at Barbara's website. It was kind of an interesting discussion about what you could see today. Next week is another prehistoric migrations all around the world. It's with Alexander. The book is called. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is Deja Vu Has Everything Already Been? And we're going to be looking at some ancient, moving of, the huge stones or from around the world. Dan, that's coming up next Tuesday. Dan's Stash Hour, I think, is July 11th. We'll be looking at his new book, American Demon, and it is about Elliot Ness moving to Cleveland after the Al Capone bust, and this Jack the Ripper kind of character in Cleveland in the 1930s. It's really, Dan's a terrific true crime author, writer. So, I think that's July 11th. So,
So you got some good ones coming up.
yeah. And Alexander's book is really good too. I'd highly recommend that. And get some whole bunch of other people on. We're trying to fill in some dates. But you have some Mothman show coming up. I think Catherine's going to be doing a presentation for the Shakespeare authorship controversy conference in New Orleans, and I think that's in November this year.
Oh, nice.
So I just have a lot of people. I just need to find places to put them in, but I have a lot of really great return guests and new voices coming up.
So it means you got to do more shows per week.
Oh,
I know.
Like one every other week is really
too much.
taxing on me right now with all this other stuff going on. But there are a lot of really good shows in the works.
Well, try doing it. We were doing it a couple of every week. Two a week. That was something. So, but we got to get to bed. So that's why I said I got to wrap it up. So that's why I said to everybody, I was like cutting it off and just. But real quick, last one, I promise, because you asked about Indian food. There, that's it.
Is that the butter chicken?
Yep. This is one where I put it in a little square dish to form the rice and make it. I made the naan, and I've gotten lazy now at all these. It comes pre-made, so I cheated. I cheated on my newer version. It's already a pre-made naan, but this one was my version of it. But yeah, I make the sauce. I said marinate the chicken the night before and yogurt. And so that's it. I said meals don't have to be complicated. It's pretty easy. But so this will be rebroadcast Wednesday at 11 p.m. next week on, if I can ever get it right, that would be a miracle, ERT Radio. Courtesy of Ron. Go there, Mixlr.com, set up your account so you can listen to amazing shows like Into the Outer Realms. I think it's Dimensions of the Supernatural. Maureen's got a show there. Plus, I've got a lot of music lined up. Charles, thank you very much for love the variety. Appreciate it. Just listen to, go support Ron. Just set up that account. Like I said, it does. Like I said, he's really trying to grow that thing here, and I don't see why we can't get him to 300 to maybe even 400,000 listens by the end of the year. We should be able to do that. So we're definitely trying that. So all right, everybody, like I said, thanks for all the support, for the listening, for putting up with my weird idiosyncrasies. And like I said, and I am humbled, and like I said, appreciate all your guys' good thoughts and the comments that you make. That means a lot. And I said, but if you want Instagram, you can go follow that there. You can see all those pictures. It makes it real easy instead of having to scroll through Facebook. But just go go support us there. Follow the Three Beards podcast as well. Go support, listen to on YouTube. Go subscribe to Barbara DeLong's channel there, and so you can follow along with Mark and the adventures that they're doing over there on Nightlight. And just thanks for coming on. We will see everybody next week. I apologize, I don't have the calendar right in front of me yet, so I can't tell you what the show is. I'm trying to bring up the calendar super quick here, so because I'm terribly prepared, as you guys can see. All right. Oh, yes. Next week is Mark Dwidziak. We're talking Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Edgar Allan Poe.
So, yes, Telltale Heart.
And my guest is mentioned in Mark's book.
Oh, nice.
So it's they all kind of know each other, and Mark Olshaker is
Don't
also
have
Mark.
the book handy to show people here, but so definitely we'll go look forward to that one where we're going to be talking Edgar Allan Poe. So that'll be a whole different angle of the show. So, but everybody have a great night. We will see everybody on the next one. Thanks everybody for all the support. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching the show, and we will see you next time. Good night.